My name is Xu Zicheng. I'm 33 years old, still not married, and I don't have kids. So what? Don't even mention being single, with no one to care for me or love me. When we were young, who hasn't heard all those romantic and cheesy lines? And don't even talk about getting old. How pitiful that sounds. 30 years ago, you never would have imagined what today would be like 30 years later. Living well in the present is what matters most. Now I figured out why I can't get married. It's because I was once deceived by a man from Jiangxi. I was scammed out of about 280,000 yuan, not quite 300,000. You know, the bride price in Jiangxi is pretty high. So, at that time, that guy did it because he couldn't find a wife. Then he scammed 300,000 yuan from me, bought a car and a house, and in the end, he married the wife he had always dreamed of. So isn't that just using my money to pay for his own happiness? In the end, the two of them got married and are living a sweet life together with my money. Sigh, there's a high chance that I'll never look for a man from Jiangxi in this lifetime. I don't plan on getting married anymore simply because I feel like I'm not happy myself. Look at this, living in a 7.9 square meter room with stuff hanging everywhere, and it's even a room with only secondary lighting. My sense of happiness is really low. I don't have a job, no savings, even just getting by is hard, and I can't even bear to spend money on food. I don't even know what will happen to me in the future. And even if I had a child, I wouldn't be able to support them. I feel like this is just how my life is going to be. If I can earn enough to spend on myself, that's enough.
Life is pretty tough, especially as you get older. Only after the age of 35 do you truly realize how important it is to save money when you're young. There's a saying about this. This saying is so profoundly true and unforgettable.
Sigh, have you heard? Nowadays, many men are saying something that's become popular. It's just too hard to get married, so why bother? If she's beautiful, you can't afford her. If not, you still can't afford to marry her. After working hard and saving for half your life, you end up marrying a woman who's been with many others, and you still have to treat her like an empress. If there's even the slightest disagreement, she threatens to go back to her parents' house. So, wouldn't it be better to just use that money to give your own parents a better life?
Sigh, in this life, no one owes anyone anything. It's better to stay single than settle for something beneath you. Do you agree with living like this? No. Some guys say they like older women, and I know many outstanding older single women. Some say I have a car, a house, a stable job, and a decent income. But the problem is, when men look for a partner, they don't care about that. These are just your bonus points. So what do men actually want? They want someone who is young and attractive with good fertility. In the eyes of men, no matter how good your conditions are, as long as you're an older single woman, you still can't compare to a young and beautiful woman, even if she's just a waitress with only a middle school education. Guys, do you think that's true?
Take a look at the people in their 70s and 80s now, the professional women of that generation. They never talked about feminism or being independent women, but they raised children, worked, and achieved a lot themselves. Have you noticed that? Women from our grandmother's generation didn't talk about these things, but they lived the idea of women hold up half the sky. They didn't think, I want a career, or I have to do this. They just saw themselves as people. No difference between men and women. God or nature gave them the ability to have children, so they had children. Pursuing a career wasn't about independence or proving anything. If they loved something, they did it. That's it. I don't think we've made progress now. I even think we've regressed. People in the past didn't emphasize these things, but they truly lived them.
They lived it out. Now it's constant emphasis, always stressing it. I think some women have been poisoned by toxic chicken soup. When it comes to bride price, they say, whoever you marry, you have to buy a house, a car, and give a bride price. No matter who you marry, you'll still get old, become less attractive, and have kids. You keep insisting what you want isn't gifts or money, but an attitude. Then a man could also say, what I want isn't your body, but your sincerity. You say a man who won't spend on you doesn't love you, but if you won't have kids, does that mean you don't love him? You make 5,000 or 6,000 yuan a month, no savings, yet expect guys your age to buy a car and house and keep your lifestyle after marriage. Seriously, what gives you the right to demand that?
Today, an auntie told me that she doesn't recommend pursuing older women. She said that in this era where there are more men than women, if a woman is still single, it's probably due to a few reasons. First, she's hard to win over. By the time a woman is in her 30s, at least a dozen men have probably pursued her, but none ended up together with her, so you can imagine how difficult she is. Second, she doesn't have a princess's life, but she has a princess's attitude. She's neither anxious nor attentive about her own marriage prospects, only her parents worry and stress about it for her. Third, this kind of woman will often tell you that she's the slow-to-warm-up type. If you like her, you have to show it with real actions and make the effort, but she herself won't put in any effort for you. Fourth, all of her ways of thinking are self-serving. There's nothing altruistic about the way she acts or speaks. So, do you agree with the auntie's point of view?
Everyone can discuss this in the comment section. These days, it's no longer the era where men chase after women. Don't just sit around waiting for a guy to pursue you and try to please you. Any man with a bit of a spark or who's even slightly outstanding has already been snatched up by women who act quickly and decisively. Right now, the few high-quality men and those with potential are already being pursued by discerning women who know what they want and have already started competing for them. As a woman, if you come across a guy around you who meets your standards and makes your heart flutter, don't hesitate. Make sure to take the initiative. In just a few years, as people in the prime of their youth get older, it will become incredibly difficult to find a partner who is both suitable in all aspects and truly to your liking.
I've noticed that whether it's older, single women, divorced women, or women who have never had a husband, it's getting harder and harder for them to actually find a man to start a family with. It seems like men have all collectively realized that it's just too much trouble and expense to spend so much on a bride price to marry a woman, whether it's her first marriage, second marriage, or even if she's widowed. Those women, when they want to find another man, they all have their eyes set high. But from a man's perspective, after spending so much money to marry someone, what do they really get in return? Men have figured this out. So, in the future, will these women still have a market? As a woman myself, speaking from a woman's point of view, I understand this very well. There are indeed many women who are quite realistic. No matter what their own status is, no matter what their circumstances are, their standards are always very high. Whether they are ordinary or not, nobody cares. Whether they are older or not, they don't care either. They just think, I'm a woman, so my standards should be higher. When it comes to men, the requirements must be higher, and they only want to move up. But for wealthy men, it's not like they're blind. They want to find someone who is both young and pure. So, the needs of these two sides are fundamentally incompatible. I'm sure you've noticed as well. There are more and more older single women being left behind, and the number of divorced women who end up single is also increasing. But the number of women who can actually find a suitable partner is getting smaller and smaller. It's as if women are becoming unwanted. Actually, the main reason is that people are afraid to get involved anymore. Don't you think so? Isn't it true that when you're over 50, what really matters is whether you can come to my home and we can support each other through thick and thin, making our lives better together instead of you coming in and setting conditions? You're already in your 40s, your resources are running out, and yet you come in demanding 20 things, wanting to see what I can offer, what conditions I have. Wouldn't it be better if you were willing to work hard together with me? I'm in my 40s and accept it. But if you just want to inherit something, move in with your bags and expect me to care for you in old age, you're looking for the wrong person. There's so much malice toward women who don't marry, especially those of us over 30. I'm 33. Honestly, if I don't marry and choose my own life, what's it to you? It's not like I'm desecrating your ancestors' graves, and then people say unpleasant things like women are born just to continue the family line. Now I see they're saying this from a male perspective. For men, the cost of marriage and having children is minimal, nearly non-existent. The house is bought by his parents, the bride price is given by his parents, he doesn't have to worry, and in the end, he gets a maid who cooks, does laundry, cares for the kids. In this family, he goes from being cared for by his mother to being cared for by his wife. He gets benefits, no drawbacks. But what does marriage mean for women? No need to elaborate. If more women in society become like me, reaching marriage and childbearing age, but still unwilling to just find a man to marry,
then there will be one more lifelong bachelor in this world. If this continues, more men may not find wives, and more women may become enlightened and unwilling to marry. The reason this idea, that you must marry, carry on the family line, and have children, gets passed down is actually because of those men. In their eyes, unmarried women are just sexual and reproductive resources with no other value. Why don't older single men face this malice? Because women don't care. Whether you marry or not, whether you're left over or not, what does that have to do with me? If you don't marry, it's better for me. The older generation always says, if there's no man in the family, someone will bully you in the future. But who's going to bully me really?
Am I supposed to be bullied by married men or by women who have already been conditioned? Like when a mother-in-law demands 300,000 yuan as a bride price, a 300,000 yuan car, a 2 million yuan house, and on top of that, expects me to pay for the 3 golds, 5 golds, the betrothal gifts and return gifts, all adding up to 200,000 yuan, and wants me to hold a banquet at a fancy hotel, and buy all kinds of jewelry, expensive ones. I'd like to ask you something. Why do you make such a big wish? Aren't all your daughters old? Isn't your daughter a master craftsman? Should you take these? Why should I give it to you? Am I some kind of sucker? Is my family short of ancestors? Is my family short of a queen? Is the country relying on your daughter to eat? If your daughter marries me, I'm supposed to be her ATM, support her for life while she does nothing at home, like a giant baby. You want me to earn money for her to spend and also cook for her. And then after a couple of years, she wants to take over my house and a lot of my assets. I must really have nothing better to do if I go after your daughter. People always laugh at me, I absolutely refuse to do it. This whole thing is like, I'm being Spending $1 million or $2 million to buy one? Buying a registered car. Gold without color is just a bunch of paint, buying back a piece of junk. No way, unless I lose my mind. Even if I'm kind-hearted, I absolutely won't do it. Absolutely not. Your second uncle, the second uncle.
Will I die?
Do you guys know, the marriage law made me, a single girl from Dali, realize that getting married late really isn't a bad thing, because in my 20s I was really particular about love, very serious but also shallow, and I cared a lot about material things. I don't know if you're like this too, but that kind of materialism is very superficial, so superficial that I wouldn't even consider whether I'd end up sleeping in a pigsty or a doghouse with him in the future. But I would care a lot about whether my name was on the property deed. If it was, that meant love, it meant pride, it was a sign of being respected. It sounded good when you told others. If it wasn't written, it meant he didn't love me, and I'd feel like my whole world was falling apart. I don't know if you've ever had those kinds of feelings or been in that state of mind, but now that I'm in my 30s, I really don't have so many demands when it comes to material things anymore. Just being decent is enough. I have my own job, I'm independent, and whether the other person has hundreds of thousands or millions really doesn't matter to me anymore. What I care more about is this person's ability to manage life, whether he has control over his own life. And also his character. Does he have a sense of responsibility? Can he be counted on? Can we live those warm, cozy days together? To test whether my thinking was right, whether it made sense, I half-jokingly told my mom that I wanted to find someone wealthy. My mom said, being with a rich person isn't necessarily comfortable or easy. Let's just find a normal person and live a simple, peaceful life. I replied, but I said I wanted wealth and prosperity. My mom replied, then you can work hard together for it. It's true, at my age I really don't want to take advantage of anyone temporarily, nor do I want to be a burden to someone, and even less do I want to be burdened by someone else. Honestly, as long as someone is healthy, capable of earning a living, and has ambition, that's so much more important than how much material wealth they already have. Don't you all agree? The new marriage law is going to be implemented on May the 1st. I don't know if you've seen it, but actually, when it comes to the distribution of property rights and practical issues, to put it simply, what's yours is yours and what's mine is mine. This really aligns with the current marriage values of us girls in Dali. That's how I see it, because what I want is for both people to have their own passions and things they want to do. When we're together, we can support each other, grow together, and create the life we want. That's truly wonderful. But as for getting married without needing a household registration book, just using your ID card, I think that's too impulsive. I still really like the idea of my parents personally handing me the household registration book and saying, our daughter is getting married and we support you in seeking happiness. How solemn and beautiful that moment is. What do you all think? What are your thoughts on the new marriage law? I'd love to hear everyone's opinions. It's been a while since I last posted, but today I suddenly saw news about the new marriage law, which is about to take effect, and I had a few thoughts I wanted to share with you. I also hope everyone can watch my video to the end, and then we can all share our thoughts together in the comments section.